Yeah, I think
It
the affinity
depends.
thing. It's fair to say it depends. We can talk about that in a second. The affinity thing, we can't. We just don't know what it means yet. First of all, we don't know how much more affinity. Second of all, we don't know what it applies to. I don't feel comfortable with saying it applies to absolutely everything Himawari can do. For all we know, the
To watch
affinity.
TV.
For all we know, the affinity just means she can heal better than Naruto, and that's all it means. It might not apply to the Tailed Beast Bomb or anything else. I think it's more fair to say the Tailed Beast Bomb is because of the cooperation, because I look at it more as the Nine Tails ability than I do as Himawari or Naruto's ability, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Tailed Beast Bomb ability.
Well,
When you get to the Four Tails state, Naruto's mindless. That's why he's able to do the Tailed Beast Bomb. He's not even able to do it in KCM1. He's only able to do it when he's like subconsciously not in control. Or in KCM2, you could argue when Kurama's doing it for him. It's like Naruto's allowing him to, but I don't think even at that point Naruto's really able to control it as well because it's very difficult to control that chakra ratio as well as the weight. So I think it is more of the Nine Tails itself doing it rather than Himawari herself doing it in the same way it would be with the Four Tails Naruto. But yeah.
well, I looked at the definition to like doing that, and basically, it's a similarity of characteristics suggesting a relationship, especially a resemblance in structure between animals, plants, or languages. Um, a relationship, especially by marriage, as opposed to blood ties, or
Yeah,
also I mean like
Sorry.
harmony too.
yeah, that's basically it's like and the Korma also said that she has a better affinity than her predecessors, which would mean that um, they also had an affinity to Korma. So
Hmm.
Naruto had an affinity to Korma. Kushina had an affinity to Kurama, and also I you know going I did this video talking about like whether Boruto has half of the nine tails, and I kind of went into what this affinity is referring to. Um, and I think it's pretty obvious that it's referring to the bloodlines
Yeah.
because yeah, the bloodlines, Hagoromo, as you know, Hagoromo created the tailed beast. They possess his chakra. They also possess Kaguya's chakra because Kaguya herself was the ten tails when it was separated into the nine bija, and of course that led to Kaguya being revived later on. So it's and that also explains what's it called again, the Gold and Silver brothers. They were
Mm.
descendants of Hagoromo. They had an affinity to Kurama's chakra, which is why when
They
others
would be,
ate the
yeah.
Nine Tails chakra, they
They
died, and
died.
the Golden Silver brothers didn't. They
Hmm.
gained the marks and stuff. So it logically tracks in the
Whatever
story,
happened
but
to those brothers?
It's the other way.
uh,
But I can't say it was a strong affinity
Yeah,
that they
that's
had.
they were
Okay,
they were sealed but released later on.
I,
So they basically went back to the spirit world.
yeah, I don't like the
Um,
bloodline argument, Kido, because if we're saying it's because of that, so do you think it's because of the Uzumaki bloodline itself?
it's no, it's more than just Uzumaki. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
like
I don't
so
think Hyuga would have affinity, but
no,
yeah.
yeah, no, Hyuga would as well because
Okay.
both of those bloodlines stem from Kaguya. Remember, Hamura is Kaguya's son, and so is Hagoromo. Hyuga stem from um, Hamura, right? And the Uzumaki stem from Hagoromo. Voice crack. So it's like what's it called again? Those bloodlines coming down. Himawari and Boruto, they possess both of those bloodlines, right? So it would explain why Boruto and Himawari would possess a greater affinity than Naruto, who possessed only one of those
Well,
bloodlines.
no, that's not how
Uh,
that works. So we're looking at percentage wise. Kushina
mhm.
was 100% Uzumaki. Hinata's 100% Hyuga. You get Minato in there. Naruto's now only 50% Uzumaki. Himawari is 50% Hyuga, 25% Uzumaki, 25% Namikaze. That's only 75% compared to Naruto or Kushina or Hinata, who is 100% of at least one of those bloodlines. So I think overall she should have less affinity just based on that.
Nah,
But
because
Hyugas
because
are
you're
linked
this.
to the Osuski too, though.
So
Yeah,
are the
no, that's what I'm
Uzumaki.
saying. Like, no, you're discounting the Hyuga because she's getting a full trace of Hyuga coming straight down to her because the Hyugas are inbreds, for one.
Yeah, I know.
So she's getting the full Hyuga coming down. She's also getting the Uzumaki side. As you know, as pertaining to Madara's situation, he was able to awaken Hagoromo's chakra because he, combined those two bloodlines together. So if Kishimoto wanted to reenact something similar, if you wanted to, let's say, those two bloodlines coming down in Himawari and Boruto through their parents, you could awaken Kaguya's chakra or more percentage of that chakra by combining those two in those children. So if Kishimoto wanted to go that route, he really could, and that could explain the stronger affinity. Or else you think they just have a stronger affinity for no reason whatsoever, which I don't think.
I
Is the
think it's
case.
fate, as Kurama said, which is just a result of bad writing. But that's a different thing. So
Bad
so
writing.
that's not how it works with genetics, though. So hypothetically, let's assume that Naruto's
This is a
100%
fictional
Uzumaki.
universe.
We'll just assume right now Naruto's 100% Uzumaki, and same with Hinata. We already know she is 100% Hyuga. So if they make a baby, Himawari, she's not going to be 100% Uzumaki and 100% Hyuga. She doesn't have 200% genetics. She still has the 100%. It's just split between Uzumaki and Hyuga. So she's 50% Uzumaki and 50% Hyuga, rather
Yeah,
than
but
100.
yeah, but I don't think that's relevant because again, we're not saying that she has 200%, 100% Hyuga and
I don't think
100%
that matters.
Uzumaki. I don't think that matters at all. What we're saying is that she has two strands. As I
Hmm.
mentioned, the example of Madara, the what's it called again, Ashura and Indra bloodline,
Yeah.
manifesting Hagoromo's chakra. The same could apply to Hamura and Hagoromo's chakra, combining again to create the parent chakra, which would be Kaguya's. And as we know, Kaguya merged with the Ten Tails, and the Ten Tails was separated into the Nine Biju, which means that the Nine Biju themselves possess Kaguya's chakra. And they also possess part of Hagoromo's because Hagoromo's power went into creating them as well. So what I'm trying to establish here is why I think it's backed up in a series that characters who possess this genetic bloodline to Hagoromo, and they went out of their way to specify that the reason why they might have survived, referring to the Gold and Silver brothers, is because they're descendants of Hagoromo. So I think the story is kind of heavily implying what I'm saying here. So it stems from them having that bloodline from Hagoromo, which is mixed into the Tail Beast, and also a part of Kaguya's because Hagoromo is of course Kaguya's son. So yeah, I think it pretty much tracks. And Himawari and Boruto possessing a stronger affinity. And again, this goes back to the anime specifying that Boruto strongly inherited the powers of the Otsutsuki, which could go back again to these two bloodlines colliding and combining, which could manifest a stronger Otsutsuki genetic in both Boruto and Himawari. And that could then lead to them having a stronger affinity to Kurama's chakra. And again, when I say stronger Otsutsuki genetic, I'm referring to Kaguya's Otsutsuki genetic specifically.
So with Madara, it's not because of his Uchiha or Senju genetics that he gained. It's because of the chakra, the Indra and Ashura chakra that reincarnated down into them that led to the Rinnegan, as we know. So when you look at
Yeah,
Himawari,
which only manifests in the Uchiha.
so why are you looking at the quantity of strands rather than the quality? Because again, the way I see it, they're coming from
I never mentioned
purebreds.
quantity though.
Well, but you're saying that Himawari has higher affinity, aka
Yeah, but
stronger in some
that
regard
doesn't.
because of
Yeah,
more
but that doesn't
strands.
refer to affinity refers to quality, not quantity.
Yes,
So
okay,
it's like
perfect. So
yeah.
we can cross compare as well. So we're looking at
Mm-hmm.
purebreds, and then you introduce Minato into the factor. That's the dilution from the Kaguya bloodline. She's no longer 100% Kaguya, she's only 75% of Kaguya's
But
bloodline,
she doesn't need
unlike
to be
Naruto or
100% though.
Hinata.
She doesn't need to be, because she has in Naruto. So Naruto being what's he call it? What we don't even know what Minato is, by the way. Like he could also be a descendant of the
I
Senjus.
don't
Who
think it
knows?
is
But it's
because they
fine.
say it's only the 4 clans are descendants, so...
No, but we also know that what's it called again? They had children outside of those clans. So we don't know
But even
where
then,
Minato stems from,
that
because
means
we also know
Minato's
that
not
Himawari
purebred.
Minato has a strong affinity to that chakra as well. But it doesn't matter if he's purebred though. What we're saying is that if Naruto, who let's say is half Uzumaki, right? That's what you're saying? He's half Uzumaki,
Hmm.
25% Namikaze, whatever. What's the percentage that you're using here?
Yeah, okay. So Naruto is 50-50 and Hinata is 100%. You combine those
Okay, so
two.
Naruto is 50% Uzumaki and 50% Namikaze.
Right, so you get 50% of Naruto, which would be 25%, then you get 50% of Hinata, which would be 50%. You add those two together, that's 75%, as opposed to 100% from her parents.
Yeah, but she should still have a pure blood genetic, which it depends. Because again, like Kushina also had a pure blood genetic. Because I believe the Uzumakis were inbreds. I'm not sure. I believe they were.
Yeah.
So when she, mated with what's his name again? Minato. I guess you could say it's split half and half. But then again, it goes back to the underlying genetic. So it's not just Uzumaki and your Namikaze and your Uchiha. It's the underlying genetic of where they stem from. One bloodline is more diluted than the other. And referring to the what's the name again? Fucking Hyugas, they're literally 100% inbreds.
Yeah.
So she's getting a full taste of that bloodline, right? And again, it's not just that she's getting a full taste of that bloodline. She's also getting a taste of both bloodlines. So those bloodlines are accumulating inside of her body from both sons of Kaguya, which could, result in a genetic mutation which manifests Kaguya's chakra, thus giving her a stronger affinity to the tail beast because Kaguya is a part of the tail beast. Now, again, I'm gonna say this, which I always say in my videos, I could be wrong, but I don't see any other way
Close
where
the door,
they would
man.
explain why Himori and Boruto have a stronger
Because
affinity
it
to
doesn't make
Konoha.
sense because there is no explanation. That's the
No, no,
I
no,
hate to
no,
be
no.
the negative
No, no, no,
Nancy.
no,
It's
no, no,
bad
no, 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 no,
writing.
no.
No, the
It's
genetic
it's
thing
not
doesn't
bad
make
writing
sense.
because no. You're it's bad writing if you ignore everything I just said about the
Miles,
combination of
close the door.
bloodlines, which
Yeah,
is
debunk
referenced in the
everything.
story,
Bro.
though.
Not ignore
Hey,
it.
No, you
man.
didn't. No, you didn't. Because remember, we have the two bloodlines combining, which we have established in the story, was able to manifest the
Okay,
Indra
well,
and Ashura chakra that stemmed from both bloodlines of Hagoromo's two sons manifested Hagoromo's chakra. So what I'm saying is substantiated in the series that the sons of one person, their chakras combining in one another person, could indeed manifest the parent chakra. So if Kishimoto wanted to use this exact same logic when it comes to Hamura and Hagoromo, I don't see how he can then ignore that and say bad writing. It just doesn't make sense.
because this hypothesis, I can't even call it a theory, it's a hypothesis, relies on the fact that
Established
maybe
logic in the
Minato
series that was used before.
relies
No, no, no,
on
no, no, no.
maybe Minato having been inbred in some regard, despite the
No,
series
no.
leaning in the
I don't
opposite
think.
direction.
You're
There's
not listening
nothing
to
there to
anything I'm
support
saying
that.
because nothing
No,
I
but
just
even
said
no, but even okay,
relies
okay.
on Minato
No,
being
I know.
inbred.
I'm
Nothing I
just
just said. You're just literally just saying
no, I know.
anything at
That's
this
fine.
point.
But okay, but you did say that at one point. I'm going to address that. So
No,
even
I'm
if
just saying that it's a possibility, but
yeah, no,
the point itself
even if we
doesn't
go with that
rely on that point.
possibility, even if we go
It's
with that
irrelevant.
possibility, which the series itself is again going against to some extent, and there's nothing there saying that it's more likely than not. It seems like it's less likely.
The point itself is
The point is it's
overall irrelevant. Yeah.
possible. But okay,
It's possible,
if we're
but it's
going with the
irrelevant to
if we're
overall
going
point.
with the unlikely chance that it is true,
Why is it unlikely?
because the series is saying that it's only the
No,
four.
which one? You're referring to the Minato point.
Yeah,
Are they?
yeah. That
Oh, okay,
Minato
go
has
ahead,
traces
go
back
ahead. I
to
think you're referring
Kaguya.
to the. Okay, cool.
But
Okay, cool,
even
fine.
if we do say that, this would just apply to Naruto himself, thus giving Naruto's genetics superior genetics than Himawari, regardless.
All right,
Even if you want to say he has 99% of Kaguya, that still passes down Naruto. So it applies to Naruto as
No.
well. So Naruto's genetics would be stronger.
You have things such as what's it called again? That thing recessive inheritance.
Yeah.
So you have recessive inheritance and you have incomplete penetrance. Now these things, of course, you can search them up. Certain genetic traits can skip a generation and manifest
Yeah.
in a later generation.
It's like eyes,
Yeah.
colored eyes and stuff like
Exactly.
But they
and
still have the
it's
genes, even if they're
yeah, but
recessive.
no. But the manifestation doesn't manifest in one generation; it manifests in the next. So the series, if Kishimoto wants it, that could also explain why Boruto can have the Jogan, and no one else before him didn't. Because it's carried in the gene, but it manifested in Boruto, just giving Boruto powers someone before him didn't. So again, like the series backs up what I'm saying.
It
And of
does
course,
not back
if
what you're
we-
saying at all.
It does
But-
back up what I'm saying. All right, explain
Okay,
to
okay.
me how. All right, hold on. Let me explain. Let me make this point. Momoshiki said Boruto strongly inherited the powers of the Otsutsuki. Explain to me how that happens.
I'm gonna address your previous thing first, since that's what I have on my mind. So
No,
basically,
no, 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 no. Explain.
can
No,
I not
address
address
that
one thing at
point.
a time? Yeah, I'm trying to
All right, go
address your
ahead, go ahead, go
previous
ahead, go
point
ahead.
before addressing your current point.
All right,
Jeez. Okay.
go ahead, go ahead,
Okay.
go
Okay.
ahead.
So the
Mm-hmm.
affinity thing isn't the manifestation of a gene, it is the genes themselves. So it doesn't matter whether it's recessive or
No, that's
manifested or
not
not.
true.
Naruto would
That's
have
not
higher
true.
affinity even if he had recessive genes.
That's not true. That's not true. Search up. Pull up Google right now.
What you're looking at is the
Free
byproduct
game.
of
Pull
what
it
the
up.
affinity might be, such as the
No,
tail
no, no,
beast
no, no.
bomb.
Ooh, you're just you're ignoring the story. First of all,
Oh my god.
let's search up recessive inheritance. Free game. Can you pull it up on your stuff?
Well, yeah, what am I looking up?
Yeah.
What am I looking up?
Recessive
Recessive
inheritance.
inheritance.
Recessive.
Again, you're looking at the manifestation of something rather
And
than the
then
actual
search
thing
up
itself.
incomplete penetrance.
Because it, regardless if it's recessive or not, it's still 100% there. That's how it gets passed down in the first
yeah,
place.
no, 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 no,
How
no,
it
no. But
can
what
skip
you're
a
not
generation.
understanding is if the gene can be passed down, but it doesn't manifest. And if it doesn't manifest, you're likely not to get the benefits of that gene. So this explains why Naruto, what's
It's
it
on
called
the
again?
screen. There you go.
Yeah, so that's so the readers can see. So that explains why Naruto can be part Uzumaki, but he doesn't
Can you
have
hear me?
the special red
Can you hear
hair,
me?
even though he's getting half of the genetics from Kushina, right? Because half of his genetics
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
from
yeah.
Minato. But guess what? If Naruto himself can then pass down that that red hair to his children, because the trait itself is in Naruto's bloodline, but it doesn't manifest until he mates with someone else who also possesses a part of that genetic trait. So that's how recessive inheritance works. So if you go into Boruto, Momoshiki saying Boruto strongly inheriting the powers of the Otsutsuki after seeing his Jogan. Boruto's Jogan is stemming from his Otsutsuki genetics.
From
Mind
Toneri.
you, oh my god, no, that's not true.
That is
Do
true.
you want me to debunk this? Because that's a big misconception in the fandom that Momoshiki gave not Momoshiki, Toneri gave Boruto the
You can do that
Jogan.
in a second. First, I want to get this point
Well, I
out.
could have
Is
sworn
that
that
go ahead,
I
Bar.
could have sworn that was like common knowledge that Toneri like assisted in the Jogan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, assisted. He didn't give him the Jogan. So the mere fact that he assisted means that he assisted, mind you, it's stated in the novels that he assisted in the speeding up the process of awakening the Jogan. He didn't give him it.
Okay,
So
but that's
you
fine.
actually read no. Hold on, Hood. Hold on, Hood. If you actually read what is stated in the novels, he didn't give him it, which means that the Jogan itself is a latent recessive trait inside Boruto's DNA, which Toneri helped him to awaken quickly. That is actually what's stated in the novels, not that he gave him it. So the entire point of bringing up Toneri is completely irrelevant because it doesn't debunk the point I was making.
No,
before.
Toneri actually makes my point for me. Okay, so Boruto's
my goodness.
affinity with the Jogan doesn't change. He just isn't able to use it until Toneri helps him out, allowing him to manifest it. Applying that to Naruto, Naruto can hypothetically
No,
have.
he was gonna be able to use it eventually. He just
He's
sped
sped
up.
up.
No, it's
It
fine. It
stated
doesn't
that-
matter about
it stated
eventually.
that he's
The,
sped
Let him
up.
it's
finish
talking
his
about
point.
right
Let
now.
my guy
It's
finish
talking
his
about
point.
in
Let
the
him
current
finish his
moment of
point.
time when it's manifested. So you look at Naruto. Naruto could hypothetically, in an alternate universe, have higher affinitization with Kurama, but just because he has higher affinitization, that doesn't mean he's able to manifest the same
that a
things.
word?
Ooh, I think you're just like going around the point.
Well,
here.
look at it like
To the
chakra
point that-
control.
no,
Naruto has
hold
worse
on, hold on.
chakra control, but because he has so much chakra, he's able to be stronger than those with higher chakra control. He has less affinity, but is able to manifest more things.
Hold on. All right. So going back to the point, so we're not diluting the argument here. So going back to it, if your entire point to debunk what I just said is to say that Toneri gave Boruto the Jogan, which is one false. Boruto has the Jogan in his genetics. Toneri spelled the process of him awakening it. So again, the Jogan is latent in Boruto's DNA. It's not something given to him. So if that is the case, this goes back to my point and it justifies my point about recessive inheritance. Because if Boruto has the Jogan inside his DNA, which he later awakens, mind you, Boruto's mother doesn't have the Jogan. Boruto's father doesn't have the Jogan. His grandfather doesn't have the Jogan. Neither of his grandparents possesses the Jogan, which simply means that the Jogan is something latent in his DNA stemming farther back from someone he descends from. And if this power is of Otsutsuki origin, which again is pointed out by Oroshiki in the anime, which means that the Otsutsukis are aware of this. It's a Otsutsuki dojutsu, and Momoshiki himself states that Boruto strongly inherited the powers of the Otsutsuki after seeing it. This means that this power stems from his Otsutsuki DNA, and his Otsutsuki DNA stems from who? Kaguya, because Boruto is a descendant of one Otsutsuki, and that Otsutsuki is Kaguya, which again supplements my point about recessive inheritance.
Well, first of all, Kaguya didn't have Jogan. That's a side thing. So you look at the outside factor, the one control variable.
Hold on. Look what I got on the page though. It says in Naruto, Toneri Osusuki tells Boruto in a dream about a special power in his right eye. Toneri warns Boruto that he will one day use his powers to guide the world to light and dispel darkness, and that he will shoulder the world's fate with it.
Yeah.
Toneri did not give Boruto the Jogan because Toneri sort of spoke about how this is the pure eye and its potential and so on. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, it further explains it in the novel itself where he says that he spelled out the process. But in general, the point is that, so Ood brought up that Kaguya didn't have a Jogan. I don't think Ood is listening to anything I'm saying because he just said that. Because the point is that it stems from the Otsutsuki genetic, which stems from Kaguya. And Ood, I'm sure you're aware of this, Kaguya didn't spawn from nothingness. She's also a descendant of an Otsutsuki, right?
Yeah.
Which means that the
as far as
line
we
itself,
know,
which,
she might have.
obviously.
So this means
that Kaguya's bloodline possesses the Jogan, which means that it could have been Kaguya's father, it could have been Kaguya's grandfather, it could have been our great-great-grandfather. The point is that the Jogan is a genetic trait in Kaguya's bloodline, which is passed down to Boruto through recessive inheritance. So again, nothing I'm saying is contradicted in the series. The series actually backs up everything I'm saying.
What makes you sure that Kaguya does have a bloodline or parents? How do we know she didn't just spawn out of nowhere?
All right. So the way this makes sense is using the Jogan itself. So one, we know the Jogan is an existing dojutsu because Oroshiki pointed out saying that, oh, you have the Jogan. So which means that they are aware of it. It's not something Boruto created. It's an existing eye. And the Momoshiki, when he saw it, said that Boruto strongly inherited the powers of the Otsutsuki. Which again, we have two characters linking back this dojutsu to the Otsutsuki. And we know that Kaguya didn't have the Jogan, which means that this genetic trait of the dojutsu exists in the Otsutsuki gene itself. And if it stems from Boruto's Otsutsuki genetic, which is Kaguya, and Kaguya doesn't have it, it has to have stemmed from Kaguya's bloodline.
That's not true.
Father, grandfather.
Okay. How do you guys feel about this?
Because she can be spawned with the latent potential as well. The information of the Jogan that gets passed down.
How do you feel about this?
Not seeking interpretation.
I looked up something and said
you can say that.
It said aside from that, fans also believe that Boruto's Jogan is tied to his bloodline as well. This is when things get interesting because there is possible explanation.
Fans who are actually reading the series.
I mean, we know that's true. Kido is a fan. He's right here. We got the proof right here.
Hold on. There's a possible explanation from a scientific perspective as well. It is important to understand that both Naruto and Hinata received pure chakra from Hagoromo and Hamura, respectively. Naruto and Hinata then had a child. Since Boruto had pure Otsutsuki genes passed down to him through Naruto and Hinata, it is possible that the Jogan could be the result of genetic mutation. Mutation can be defined as a permanent change or alteration of the nucleotide sequence in the genome. Considering that he had pure Otsutsuki genes that were passed down, could have been a genetic mutation of the Tensagon, which led to the appearance of the Jogan. This is one of the few theories that had served as an explanation for Boruto having a Jogan or the pure eye.
So I personally disagree with this because Urashiki knows what it
course
is,
you do.
implying it's been a thing before rather than a new
Oh,
mutation.
Look at you, Ood. Look at you. Look at you. No, but hold on. It's about, you have to put this into context. So when they say it's a mutation, it's not that they're saying Boruto created it. It's that he manifested it. So mutation
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you are the originator of something. It just means that you have the genetics to be capable of manifesting it. So,
I know, that's fine.
Ood, you saying
That's just
or
that's
Shiki
just
pointed
like
out, there
eye
is really a
colors and stuff
contradiction
like
to this
that.
theory.
That's a mutation.
Yeah,
It doesn't
makes sense.
contradict my theory at all.
It's not natural.
Yeah. So it's like the Sharingan. You have Uchihas who didn't manifest it, but they have the genetics
Information.
to
Yeah.
be able to do so.
Exactly. Yeah, so Kagi can still spawn from nowhere and have the information that other Otsutskis have. She doesn't need to have a dad. There's nothing proving that she does.
Oh no. That's cap. She's spawning. She's an Otsutsuki. She's from the Otsutsuki race. So unless I guess it depends on like your outlook on how species come into being. But I think if she's from the Otsutsuki race, it means that she possesses Otsutsuki DNA, and that's where the genetic of the Jogan stems from. Because again, as you pointed out, Urashiki knew what it was, which means that it's something existing. You know, it's not something new.
And they say that what's what's his name? Shibai had the Jogan as well.
Seemingly.
Several.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. We don't
Well,
know.
it looked like it. It looked similar, I should say.
Yeah, but the Jogan looks like the Byakugan, so...
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like he had
another
Kawaki's eye as well. Just one triangle. It's just weird.
So I will say the outside factor here is Toneri. The information from the Jogan was seemingly passed down from Kaguya through all the generations down to Himawari. That means the Jogan's information
Boruto.
has to be in Boruto. Yeah, my bad. So the Jogan's information has to be within Naruto or Hinata or maybe both of them. So hypothetically, you include that outside factor. Maybe Naruto or Hinata could have awakened their latent Jogan since they have the information to pass it down in the first place. In fact, maybe they would have been better with the Jogan, had higher affinitization to it than Boruto does.
It depends. If you take into account recessive inheritance, it goes back to the Uzumaki stuff. So you can carry, it's like the gene is split in half. You need both sides of the gene to manifest the mutation. I don't know if I can pull it up so you guys can see. But yeah, you have to possess two sides of the gene to manifest the resulting phenotype, which in this case, the phenotype would be the Jogan. So if Naruto, if hypothetically, if the gene was split in half between, if it stemmed from Kaguya, she had two sons. Half was given to Hamura, half was given to Hagoromo. Those two bloodlines never collided until Himawari and Boruto. So even if Naruto possessed half of the Jogan gene and Hinata possessed half, they would never manifest it because they only had one half. So when those two halves collided, in their offsprings, that's when the Jogan was able to manifest.
Whoa. I'm going to stop you right there because they weren't... I don't like your wording, even though you might mean the correct thing. They weren't given half. They have the same gene pool. They just manifested different things.
No, you know what I mean. Not given.
So they have the same gene pool. They were given the same thing, 100% of the same thing.
Well, not the same thing. It's
outside of mutations.
In Naruto, it's implied to be different. Because Hagoromo inherited the Rinnegan and Sharingan. Well, actually, in the manga, Hagoromo never had the Sharingan. He just had the Rinnegan.
Sure.
The Sharingan is actually a mutation created by Indra.
Yeah.
And Hamura inherited the Byakugan. So the power literally split in half. Because Hamura didn't have the Rinnegan, and Hagoromo never had the Byakugan.
Well, no, but
so
they should have the
literally...
latent potential of it. They should have the
possibly.
information. Yeah, they just...
Possibly,
so hypothetically, if
it's...
they had a Toneri to awaken it for them or speed up the process, they might have awakened both.
It's possible that the reason why I think it's different in Naruto is because you have the case of the Uchiha, right? The Uchiha specifically stated, like, they have the potential. You have to be a descendant of the Uchiha to have the potential to awaken the Sharingan. So if what you're saying is true, which I understand why you're saying it, it makes sense. but in the context of Naruto, it isn't, because not every one of like Hagoromo's like descendants have the potential to awaken the Sharingan. Only the Uchihas, right? And Hagoromo has multiple descendants, the Senjus, the Sarutobis, like the Uzumakis. Naruto doesn't have the Uchiha gene, right? Even though he's a descendant of Hagoromo. So we can see here Naruto where Kishimoto is taking liberties with science, which makes sense. It's a fictional universe. So I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison.
So there's another factor there, is genetic drift. I don't think they have traces of Kaguya left in them. They have traces of their ancestors who are within like 50 generations, but I think Kaguya thousands of years ago, I don't think they have that information. Like technically 4 billion years ago or whatever, everyone spawned from Africa. That doesn't mean we have African genetics in us, because it's been genetic drifted out over time.
Well, I mean, that's if you agree with that theory. It like they can literally trace your ancestry back thousands of years. Now, if they can't trace your ancestry back to Africa, you probably did not come from Africa. So that's what I'll say.
Well, humanity spawned in
really,
Africa.
I mean, that's
evolution.
that's what some people claim, you know.
Sure, okay,
But
okay.
Yeah, if you want to believe that, there's not any scientific evidence to
I
prove
don't
it.
know. There's not any scientific evidence. That's crazy.
I mean, but if there's if we have like science literally saying that, okay, cool, we're literally tracing your ancestry back to 1 billion years to see that you're 1% Caucasian, 1% fucking Egyptian or some nonsense, right? But yet it can't trace your ancestry back to Africa. But yet it can trace some ancestry back to Africa. It simply means that you're simply not from Africa. I think that makes sense. Now, if some people want to ignore that and still claim that everyone is from Africa, I think that's up to you. I don't think that makes sense.
Okay. I'll go even further back then, since I'll assume you're going with the idea of evolution. Humans evolved from fish. We don't have fish genetics, even the information of fish in us.
That's not true. That's a theory.
I don't think we evolved from fish.
That's a theory.
That's a theory. But, you know.
I mean, I could have sworn that seemed like an
facts and theory. It's a
Life
theory.
had to start.
It's like the
below the water.
Pangea theory.
Yeah.
It's like every like all like we was one like big landmass and we split apart. They still haven't proved that. It's called the Pangea theory.
There are literally so many like alternate versions.
That's another
history,
theory.
No, I'm just saying that's a theory that we evolved from.
Yeah.
Go with the most likely interpretation. I'm gonna assume this for my argument. If you want to just debunk my entire argument by saying that might not be true, then sure. But if the Pangea theory is true,
I believe that we was genetically modified by aliens, so mine's is a little bit far fetched to yours.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, so
I think we I don't know what I think. I don't really care, to be honest.
I believe that aliens came out here.
Anyone is alien, evolved from germs, just spawned on the planet. Anyone, it's fine.
Listen, Kido, all I'm saying, you do not have Adam nor Eve information inside of you.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. It's been genetic drifted out millions of years ago.
Nah, bro. Nah, if they dig
wasn't
deep
the
enough,
first
they can find it, bro.
But anyways, let's not talk about that. Anyways,